Hello and welcome to the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Monday, the 28th of December, 2015, and ending, well, we'll say Friday, January 1st, 2016, but of course that's a holiday. Welcome to the end of the year. We made it. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the S&P index, essentially a daily chart in the format of the futures, which is the more precise technical format that you want to watch. And as you can see, we closed out the week at 2051.50. Just so you know, if you go back and take a close look, where did we come into 2015? And if we put our mouse over December 31st of last year, it was 2054. So again, we just closed at 2051.50. We are down 2.5 points for the entire year. Remember how slow the year was in terms of this flat action we saw all over here. Finally got the dip in August, and things have been exciting and interesting ever since. But overall, we're still ending up right where we started. Pretty interesting. All right, so Friday we were closed. Thursday was a half day for Christmas Eve. Here's a look at oil futures. Oil closed at $37.90, still under that $40 barrel. Look how it's retesting. Remember, the low was 38 back in August, and we broke that, and now it's retesting it. I hate to say it, but chart to chart, if we roll over from here and crack the lows, the next move down should be big. So, wow, are we going to get to 20 in the 20s? That would be interesting. Gold down $1.80 on Friday. The S&P obviously completely dead on Thursday. Lost 3.5 points in the half session. We don't trade the half sessions. NASDAQ 100 down to 1.82 points. The SOX was up 2.61, which basically doesn't even register. Biotech's up 12.20. The biotechs look like they could break out. Of course, we'll talk about what this week really is about here in a few minutes. We got the VIX at 15.74, back near approaching the lows since August, but of course not helped by the fact that nobody's even around here. Trend closed at 1.82. That's a high reading on the trend. That has the 10-day moving average at 1.29, which is not really a sign of a top at all, which is what we look for out of the trend typically. NASDAQ volume 657 million on Friday, obviously, or Thursday on the half day. And, this is normal. Now, look at this dot. Remember, this is the daily chart of the NASDAQ volume, 657 million. Let's go look at last year. And last year was about the same on Christmas Eve for the half day. So you can see right now on basically in the middle of your chart, that lowest dot was Christmas Eve 2014. And then we had a day, Christmas was on a Thursday, so we had a Friday wedged in between there, which is a full day, but that's kind of a joke, obviously. So volume was only 850 million or so. And then the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back to like 1.1, 1.1, 1.3. And that's only because New Year's Eve itself is a full day where there's some tax maneuvering, but it's just junk and it's not real technical trading. And then there was a day or two of slowness before we got through that Friday after New Year's, and then the next week we got back to normal volume, starting at 1.7 billion. That's normal. So what does this next week look like? Well, again, Christmas Eve was a Thursday, so we don't have that Friday wedged in between. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, full days. Thursday's a full day. It shouldn't be. It's New Year's Eve. Friday, the markets are closed. I'm guessing most of the days this week are going to be about 1.1 billion shares, which means worse than everything this year except for the Christmas Eve half day, the half day between Thanksgiving and the Friday, half day Friday after Thanksgiving. Everything else was at least 1.2. We had 1.2. Well, that's actually Veterans Day in October. So everything else is really 1.3 or higher. I'm guessing we'll be below that all this week. If that ends up being the case, we'll test it out on Monday. Then obviously trading becomes very hazardous, and our job is to make money, not to place trades. So if that's what it looks like, then we'll back off. But for now, just in case, since there is 3 straight days here, we'll look for the volume tomorrow morning and see what we get. Advanced decline ratio plus 335 on the NASDAQ, plus 300 on the New York on Friday. Google lost $2.67, but still closing, obviously, with just 4 days left, very near the high of the year. Apple, not so interesting, actually near the lows of the year in a flat range. Amazon, which had the 13 sell signal about 8 days ago, down 91 cents, but still very near the highs of the year. Again, nobody wants to sell these stocks that are up so much for the year and lock in a tax gain, so that's why these things do what they do. Let's take a quick look at the ES in 5-minute candles. Actually, we'll go to 10 here and look at the whole week, even though it was a abbreviated week. Apologize, I just hit the wrong thing. So there's the half day Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and then the prior Friday and the prior Thursday. So Monday we gapped up, filled the gap closed about where we opened. Tuesday, flat opening and drifted higher. Wednesday, everybody was gone. Volume dropped off. Gap up and drifted higher. Thursday, the half day, complete waste of time, obviously. All right, so what do we have to look forward to for this week ahead? Again, it's all about the volume. If the volume's that poor, nobody with a brain is going to be trading. We've got no economic data on Monday, the 28th. On the 29th, Tuesday, we've got the Case-Shiller's 20-City Housing Index and Consumer Confidence 30 minutes into the market. Not a big deal. On Wednesday, MBA Mortgage Index, pending home sales, crude oil inventories. Thursday, continuing and initial jobless claims. That's the weekly number. Chicago PMI 15 minutes in, and natty gas. No data on Friday. As we said, the markets are closed. But here's another thing to be aware of, and I'm going to slide this around. This is the global economic calendar. You'll notice it's also very light. I can cover the whole week just in this range here. But the one thing you see over and over again, bank holiday, bank holiday. So even though the U.S. is only closed on Friday, we got New Zealand and Australia closed on Monday. Japan's got retail sales. We got UK and Canada closed on Monday. Going into Tuesday, the consumer confidence number I talked about already. Wednesday, Japan goes to bank holiday for the rest of the week, so Japan's closed the rest of the week from that point on. German bank holiday on Thursday. New Zealand, Australia, China, everybody's closed Thursday except for the U.S. and Canada. So, again, most of the world markets are closed most of the week, and then, of course, everybody's closed Friday. The only reason I point that out is because, obviously, it makes a difference in terms of what we're expecting, and this is part of why the volume tends to be still light this week. So we will, we'll have some scans and some stock picks for Monday, but mostly we'll be calling it from the tape. And in terms of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, obviously if the volume's light, then we encourage people to try to stay out of the way for the most part, and we will be making very, very light calls from that point forward. So here's a last look. We'll do market previews on YouTube probably Monday night, and that might be it for the week. And then we'll have some year-end wrap-up stuff and everything next weekend. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal 12. If you've not taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great New Year's and safe New Year's. Happy holidays from here at TradeSight. We'll see you in 2016.